This is a story I heard from a trucker who used to drive out on the East Coast. Now, he got a job to haul a load once a month to a remote spot in the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina. And he thought it was really weird because they would basically have him drop this load out in the middle of like nowhere. And he had no idea why he was putting this load on the side of the road, but they paid really good money. So he just really didn't care. So for several months, he would drop this load off. He would go up into mountains and there was a spot right by the woods where he could pull off, and he was told to unload the truck. Well, this one particular night, he's driving there and he ends up getting behind, so he gets there late and it's completely dark. He unloads the truck and puts it, on the side of the road where he was instructed, and he decides he's going to get a few hours sleep. And he didn't think it would be, any sort of problem because there was no one around. So he goes into the back of his truck and he starts sleeping. He wakes up in the middle of the night and he starts hearing like these weird vocalizations, like these screams, like something is communicating to something else through the woods. And it's getting louder and louder. And then he hears outside of his truck like all this commotion and noise. He thinks, this is just some of the wildlife in the area. I'm just going to go back to sleep. So he goes back to sleep for a couple more hours. He wakes up. It's now daylight. And when he goes into the front of his truck and he looks out his window, he sees there are all of these people like hanging up in the trees, like staring at him. And he said, they just all look like they were, inbred or deformed. And they were just up 10 feet, 15 feet up in these trees, just hanging from the trees like monkeys staring at him. And he couldn't figure out what was going on. And they all kind of come down from the trees and start taking the stuff from the load into the woods. And so he got in his truck right away and started up and just got out of there. And he said he talked to other truckers and he said, these are the feral people, or they call them, the inbreds who live in the Appalachian Mountains. They don't like to communicate with the outside world, and they get supplies dropped off to them from time to time to survive out in the woods. But the police, no one will bother them. No one even goes near them. The only time they socialize with people is when they get these loads dropped off of goods to sustain them until the next shipment comes.